Jury consultant Alan Tuerkheimer is joining us tonight. He's an expert on this. Alan, great to see you. Let's start with this process of selecting the jury. Is too much being made of the judge allowing Rittenhouse to reach into this jar, pull out the jurors?
I think so. It is interesting. It's a quirk of this trial, this case, this judge. But at the end of the day, it was still random. But I've never seen that before. It was unusual. But again, you had 18. It was going to be whittled down to 12, which is significant, 33%. A third of the 18 then become 12. So it had significant implications, and it will affect the deliberation. But at the end of the day, it was still random. So it didn't actually matter who did it. It was a little more for show. I'm not sure what reason it was, but it didn't affect much.
Alan, walk us through the deliberation process for this jury. What's happening behind closed doors, typically, especially in these high-profile cases?
What I think happened early on, and this is why it takes so long, is that after jurors are sitting for weeks, hearing information, hearing testimony, taking notes, they're not allowed to talk about the case. And if you think about it, that's a big burden. That's not that easy to do. So as soon as they get in the deliberation room, finally they're able to speak. And so there's some psychological comfort in releasing and unburdening themselves and just sharing anything they want about the case. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the law or the verdict questions. It can just start off with what they liked, what they didn't like, how they're feeling. It's just a very general, free-flowing discussion that usually takes place. And then shortly after that, and a four-person was already selected at that time, but after that, then they usually turn their attention to the law. And I think at that point, they started reading through it. And as a lot of us know, it was very confusing. It's murky. There's a lot of subjective terms and interpretations in it and ambiguous legal concepts. So they just wanted to look at it. Again, nobody can understand it completely by just hearing it from the judge at one time, let alone lay people. I had a tough time following some of it, and I think a lot of us did. So Good luck to 12 lay people with no legal training.
Right. So who's there to assure that the jury follows the rules, understands what is in front of them, and assures that everything is done correctly?
A delicate balance needs to be struck. This judge is not shy to immersing himself in the process. However, he can't really weigh in on things that he's not supposed to. So the jurors have the law, and if they have questions about it, he's not allowed to go too far into the details. He's not really allowed to give interpretation. So if they're stuck, he might say something to the effect of, read it again, do what you think is best, use your own judgment. So it's difficult for him to do that. Now, again, he does seem like the kind of judge that would want to get in there and straighten things out, and I'm sure he could, but judges like jurors. Judges are like jurors, but they're wearing robes and they have formal legal training. So he has his own style and approach and maybe biases. So it would be impermissible if he started weighing in too much on how to guide the jurors along in the law. So hopefully one of the jurors or a couple of the jurors take the lead in the deliberation and try to break it down and make the law comprehensible to the 12 jurors deliberating.
Real quickly, I know it's very difficult to predict, and we have been surprised many times before on what juries decide in some of these big cases. But if they take longer to deliberate, what does that typically mean, and vice versa?
At this point, well, if it's a quick deliberation, again, it means a slam dunk case. But the longer it takes, the more viewpoints are being considered, the more people are weighing in, and probably there's not as much consensus the longer it takes. People are diligently weighing the evidence and taking this very seriously the longer it takes. And the longer it takes, it's probably more likely they're going to be hung and split on some counts. But it doesn't really tell us either way, if they're unanimous, which direction they're going if they take longer than what would be a short deliberation.
Back at it tomorrow. Alan, appreciate your insight on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.